Alright guys, welcome to another video. This is another project video on the Pioneer 700. This would be probably about the same process on a Pioneer 1000 or 500 or 520. So what I'm going to be doing is, perfect time, I'm installing a windshield wiper on my Pioneer. So ideally you would have a glass windshield for this project. I do have what's called a hard coat plastic window, which means it's scratch resistant, so this will work. I do not plan on using the wiper. Don't ever use the wiper when your windshield's dry. I wouldn't use it to, just for mud on a plastic windshield, because you'll probably scrape it up pretty good. But for what I'm doing, like when I'm plowing and I've got snow and rain on the window, this should work just perfect. So I picked up this kit on Amazon, and I'll have links in the description for all the products that I use. Basically, in the box you get this washer fluid reservoir that comes with a pump on it, so you could plumb this in if you have room under the hood. If you've watched my other videos, I've done so many upgrades to my Pioneer 700. I honestly do not have room for this tank, at least not under the hood. So for the purposes of this video, I will not be installing this, but it's just as easy as, putting a momentary switched power to these terminals right here, and then, running some tubing up to a nozzle that you put like in the plastic right here. Pretty easy, very simple circuit. What I'm going to be doing is installing just the motor. It does come with some tubing for that, for the wiper pump. So I'm going to be installing this drive motor here. It does have a switch built right onto it. So really, the wiring's pretty easy. I just need to supply 12 volt power and ground. And in my case, it'll just be, when the key's turned on, and it'll come off my accessory fuse block under the hood, which I'll show you. They do include the momentary switch for that windshield washer and a T, and they include 2 nozzles actually, so you could put 2 squirters on the window. Really, this wiper is only enough, in my opinion, to do, probably just need 1. But so it comes with 2 different wiper blades, the arm, and the motor. And it comes with some instructions. You don't need those, right? We've got this winter storm going on out here. Lots of freezing rain. So it's a good time to get this project done before I need the side-by-side. Alright, so this kit is designated as a 110 degree wiper motor, which what that means, if it was 90, it would just be able to go basically from here to back to here. So it would just make one swipe like that. Being 110 degrees, we can kind of put a little more towards the middle, and it can go past 90 degrees, kind of like this. That's kind of the plan that I have for it. So put the motor not all the way over here, but kind of in this region here. And obviously I care most about the driver's line of sight more than anything. Also, a little bit of specs. The arm on it is 13.7 inches. And then it comes with 2 blades, a 13.7 inch blade and a 15.7 inch blade. So I'm just kind of guessing what I need here. They also make a kit with a 15.7 inch arm and a 15 and 17 inch blade. But we're going to try to make what I have work here. I got to kind of figure it out as I go. That's kind of the cheap way to do it. So I'm basically adding a set of wipers for $90 with potentially a sprayer instead of OEM Honda that works with the Honda windshield, which would be, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that's the benefit of doing this yourself, and it's relatively easy. All right, so both blades appear to be the same size, but they're not. And you can tell the difference when you actually install it on the wiper arm. The total length of the whole assembly is different. So this is the smaller one. It looks like I'm just barely going to have enough room. So if I mount the motor up here, kind of like this, and when it wipes, come down, You can see how close it's going to be. This screw go like that, and then come back up here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my mark for the center of that hole. And you want to flatten this out against the windshield so there's tension on the window. There's a, obviously screw here, or a spring. I want to kind of get tension on it, how it's going to kind of actually be. And then I'll make a mark where I want to be. That way I'll know where to drill. It looks like to mount this, obviously you have the point. There's going to be one large hole that comes to the window, and then 2 small bolt holes. And that's what actually holds the window, is those small holes, and it will come through the window with the larger shaft hole there. All right, so I've made a little mark on the window. So now I basically just need to figure out exactly what size hole I need for this right here. It's just this inner thread. All right, so this first hole is going to be 1/2 inch. And obviously we'll just need to be down just enough to clear the curve of the windshield. We're just going to go for it. Go ahead and clean up this hole on both sides. So let me just mark it from the other side. If someone hold this for me, I'll mark it through the other side. Or just do that. Should line up right over those holes. Yep. Alright, so I got all my marks, and now I'll get a smaller drill bit. Drill for my smaller bolt holes. Alright, so now I've got 1/4 inch drive. Alright. There's one. Let's see where the second one's going to be. Alright, got our 2 holes drilled. Should be ready to get it in place. I've got some stainless nuts and bolts that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get it in there. Like I said, this, remember, just the rubber. There's one rubber washer that goes on each side of the motor. And on the outside you have this little washer before you tighten it all down. All right, so once you get your 2 nuts and bolts in there, you might need a helper to hold them. In my case, it was a little 8mm and an Allen key that I used. Now I'm going to tighten down that center bolt, that holds the wiper arm in place. You don't need this thing to be like cranked too tight. It's nice and tight on there. That's in theory ready to put the wiper arm on here. See, the spring tension is going to be the only kind of tricky part, because you kind of have to compress it while you're installing it. Obviously, we don't want to bend anything or gall anything up here. All right, so once we got the wiper arm on, we use a 10mm socket. Put that nut on there. I've got it kind of loosely in place here. I'm going to go ahead and apply temporary power back to the motor and flip it on just to make sure that everything's good where it's at before I put my final wiring in place. Temporary power. All right. This is pretty good. I think I want the arm a little bit higher, so when it stops, it's up a little bit higher. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to loosen it up and then rotate that arm a little higher, because I just don't want it in my field of view when it's off like that. So if I can get it up a little further out of the way. All right, we'll simulate a little bit of rain on the window. There it is. All right, so now what I just need to do is go ahead and wire it up. So again, in my case, I'm just gonna use, I got some wire. This is part of a harness kit that I had. So I'm just gonna use it. I'll run it from the motor up along here, down here. We'll come down, we'll come into the engine compartment. In my case, I've got a lot going on under here, as you can see. There's no room for that washer bottle. Maybe what I'll do for another project this spring is put it under the seat next to the battery. Then I can run the squirter hose, if it's got enough power, that is, up. Because it would be nice to have the ability to have those washer nozzles, and I have all the stuff. Then I'm going to use this. I have one more circuit spot left on my fuse panel here under the hood, and that is a switched circuit. So basically when the ignition is on, the wipers will work. If I turn the ignition off, the wipers will turn off. And then obviously I have the switch up there on the windshield. So I'll just ground it to the frame, or one of the spare ground wires I have under here, and run the positive 12 volt off the switch circuit right up here. Very easy. And then we'll go give it a final test when we're all done. You can see, and that looks like that was meant to be there. All right, I'm just getting some wiring finished up here. Obviously, in everyone's case, the wiring will be a little bit different. That white wire, there's a third wire in there, so that's just gonna be saved for future use, possibly. I'll just go ahead and ground that real quick, and then this will be done. Like I said, very simple wiring on this project this time. All right, well, I wanted to come out and try it out, but we've just switched from freezing rain to snow. You get the idea. Reach up, hit the switch. So you gotta flip the switch just at the right time to get to park, but it works perfect. All right, so that's all there is to it. So I just thought I'd show you a relatively quick, easy way to add a windshield wiper to your Pioneer 700. If you think this helped you, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more Pioneer videos, and leave a comment if you have a question or just a comment. Until next time, we'll see you later.